Can you guys hear me now? Sorry. All right, so I git cloned it, or I forked it, git cloned it down to my local machine. So I'm just gonna convert this into a fat arrow function and paste in kind of the expected output. So it takes in an array and takes in the sum, the desired sum. That's just what I'm starting with. Here, I need to export module.exports the sum pairs. And in my spec file, I'm going to call that sum pairs. ls. So I'm down here in my JavaScript or sum pairs directory. I want to cd into JS, ls, sum pairs spec. I do recall that for the test specs to work, I'm going to rename this to .test.js. And you can, well, I don't want to say it, yeah, but there is a way to allow it to test for spec as well. You just have to, in your script, you have to do some regex to make sure that the Jest file, when ran, checks for essentially anything that has spec in it. So ls, cd, or clear. So I want to npm init to initialize my npm node. I just say enter, enter, enter. Author, is this okay? Yes, great. There's my package.json file. No errors. And now I want to do npm. There's I, which is short for install. Install dash save, or it could be like capital S, I believe. But there's dash save, or is it no, I'm sorry, dash save. Save dash dev. Or as we did before, it was I just dash D for the dependencies, but they all pretty much do the same thing. Save dash dev Jest. So it's downloading Jest.
What was the difference between that and npm I Jest IPv?
They're pretty much the same.
Okay, because I wrote that down as what to do.
It's fine.
Shorter.
It's shorter, yeah.
We'll say the same.
So there comes my node modules, and there comes my package-lock.json. Clear. Whoop. So I want to write some tests that use these tests. So I think it was test. Oh, that's not text. Test. String. Hate that. Expect. Input. Array to equal. Expect array of that and 9 to equal this. It's followed by, is it a fat arrow function? It says expect sum pairs. That array. And 9, is it to be or to equal? Do to be, see, you can check to see if that works. So I'm just gonna npm Clear. Is there anything else we need to do?
We need to export.
Export. So I've got my module exports.
Okay.
Create a new branch. Thank you. See, git checkout the Tom's solution. Cool. Clear. I forgot to add Jest into here, didn't I? So at this in the scripts, we need to add Jest. So clear. I'm going to npm run test. See what happens. Oh, there we go. Cool. Hold on a second. So I wrote for some pairs to return this array. Not working. So to be one failed. What it said? Expected serializes to the same string. I don't know what that means. Let answer equal return answer. I'm literally just always only make one change in your code and then rerun it. So maybe 2b is not the right keyword or right built-in method. Let's go to Jest. And let's at these using matchers. So what else? To be to equal. Try to equal. So instead of using to be, I'm using to equal. Rerunning the test. There we go. So we need to equal for that to pass. I'm clearing. Now let's copy a couple more times. And put that in there. Change the inputs. That's 7 to equal this double array. And same thing like this. What's going on? And 27 to equal, it's unable to find pairs string. That's good, but this part. I'm just getting my test specs written. Now I'm going to run the test specs again, npm run test. All right, we got 1 pass, 2 failed. Unable to find pairs. Cool. And a lot of times, so in the challenges in the future, when you gotta run test specs, comment out each one, and then make sure you pass the first test, then comment out the second one, make sure you pass that test, and then uncomment that, and then make sure you pass the third one. So instead of seeing all these errors, you're like, oh man, which one do I like solve for each one and then move down. So, but that's kind of how It's an easier way to solve one little thing at a time. You're breaking down a big problem into smaller chunks. So with some pairs, I'm not going to do any pseudocoding. Just want to get the lunch. Right? So we have to keep track of the sum. I don't like that. I use another target. I like target. I use target. Okay, yeah. Target my answer. Let sum equal 0 because we're going to keep track of the sum. I'm just going to use a for loop, a double for loop, like a nested for loop. So starting at index 1, index 0 in one for loop, and then the nested for loop, let's start at index 1, and it checks it, goes through, adds those together. And then if it equals it, I'm going to append to an array to let answer array, because it looks like we have to return array no matter what. So I want let answer array equal an array. My first for loop for let I equal 0, I less than array dot length, I plus plus, and then here for let j equals I plus 1, j is less than array dot length, j plus plus, and then I want to assign the sum to equal the array at I plus the array, the value at the array at the j index. So I'm looping through, stays on the very first index, and this in the second for loop, I loop through every single element index in the array, element in the array. I check it. I add those two values together, and if it equals the target, I'm gonna push into this answer array.
So you're looking for the same array twice.
Yes. So if sum equals target, you can actually do double equals target. Answer array, got push. Now I want to push an array because each individual one of these is an array. Array at index I, followed by array index j.
So this code will compare in your array, it will compare number 1 and 2, and 2 and 3, but it will not compare number 1 and 3.
We'll compare 1 and 3.
Okay.
So it stays on index 0, and then so it's in here within this block of code, and once it gets into here, the second for loop, it runs this entire for loop before I moves on to the very first index. And then j is now index 1 plus, or index value at index 1 plus 1, so it's this index 2.
Okay.
Then we can just return the answer array. Let's run this. I'm sure there's going to be errors. Down here, clear, NPM run test. One, oh yeah, okay. So I passed that first one. I'm going to comment out the second one. Run test. Hopefully come on. All right, pass 2. Commented out third one. Uncommented out. I'll clear it. So it's probably going to fail. All right. Yep. So I'm not testing. So right now, expected unable to find pairs. I received an empty array. So in here, I can do an if statement if answer array. The answer array exists. Because that actually returns a Boolean value because it's an empty array. Empty array default is a falsy. Else return unable to pairs. Is that what it is? Cool. Here. Run the test again. Oh no. Equal. Oh, I see what I did. Did I do that? What did I get?
Does it have to deal with to equal instead of to be?
Oh, so because you initialize your array,
Oh, is it?
You want to do answer dot
Length.
answer r dot.
So, all right, yeah, there we go. Thank you. So, yeah, length is 0, 0. Default is a falsy. NPM run test. There we go. So, yeah, so if the answer array, if the length of the answer array is 0, that means they didn't find any values that equal the target. So, there we go. So now I'm here. Now I'm going to show you. You want to see me merge it into the master on my local machine and then push up and then make a pull request, or just push this straight up to GitHub and then make a pull request from my branch?
You're already making the branch, right?
Say that.
Last time we did
Perfect. And that's generally the best practice, is to merge your branch into your master and then push. So git, what do I first have to do? Git add. Right? So if I just git add everything.
oh, good status.
What's it doing there?
No,
Because the one file is so large.
Yeah. Git status. Oh, geez. No, definitely don't want that. What is it? Git reset? Git reset status. Okay, thank you. All right. So I want to remove that sum pairs, or git remove the sum pairs. I don't want this in here, so I'm going to actually remove that sum pairs spec. Is that even a ls? Git status clear. Git status again. All right. So I want to add this. I'm going to do a git ignore file. So I haven't done this in a while. Touch.git ignore. Is that right? ls. So here's my git ignore file. And anything that gets put in this file should not be added to your Git repository. So if I just do, it's just node modules, or does it have to be in just node modules? Doesn't have to be a string, just node modules. Sweet. So what I did, I created a git ignore file, came right here. So anything within this file it's ignored when you're committing or adding it to your GitHub or your Git repository. So I'm going to git add. I'm going to just add everything. So that was a lot faster. So let's git status. So I've got my git ignore file. So I'm actually adding my git ignore file to that. Passage away file, modified. I don't want it. Oh yeah. So this looks good. I'm not adding anything, or I'm not adding node modules. big ass massive file. Clear, git commit, M, Tom's git ls. So now I want to git check out master. The branch is up to date. See how now everything changed. So git merge Tom's solution. There we go. So I merged everything back. Here's my file. Package tests. I actually want to, it's not good to leave commented out code in your files. Like useless code. But. So I'm going to just git add, git status, git commit. So I,
node underscore modules or just node space modules?
node underscore modules. I'm committing because so I deleted all those useless comments. So git commit, cleaned up comments. So great. Git now. So I'm on my master, git status, and I can git push origin master. Now I'm going to go to my GitHub. Here's my GitHub. Here's branches. Which one is this? Some pairs.
Once you git push origin master, could you delete that or undo that command?
Delete.
Like, is it like sending an email you cannot unsend an email, or is it like moving items to the trash can?
No, yeah. Once you push origin master, it's already pushing it to GitHub.
Okay.
So when you merge the branch and the master,
Mm-hmm.
the branch does not exist anymore?
No, so I can do git branch, and there's Tom's solution, so I can always go to it. But you can always delete that branch once you're done with it. So kilo platoon, pull request. I'm at Tom's sums, and I want to create a new pull request. And then base repository kilo platoon sum pairs master Tom pre sum pairs pair master. Create pull request. See, there are my commits, Tom solution, cleaned up comments. There's everything. Create pull request. How is this? That's that.